What's up everyone? Hello, this is Dr. Sashi and welcome to another episode of Sky Show. And today I have Mauri from Tuesday with Mauri, who's going to be interviewing me, and I'm going to be answering as much as I can. The topic is based on men's fertility and men's wellness, so it's quite an open topic. We're going to be discussing about that. Alright? Alright.
So, Dr. Sashi, thank you very much for taking the time to be part of the interview. So, today we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is a big concern for many men, which is men's infertility. So, Dr. Sashi, would you give us, please, an overview of the men's infertility situation in Malaysia, please?
Okay, so I think before we go ahead, I want to say thank you everyone. Thank you, Mauri. And before I talk about infertility in Malaysia, I think as a country in the world map, and which is, like we have been seeing this statistic that men's fertility rates worldwide have been dropping, especially when they compare from the 70s to 2000s. There is a drop of almost 40 to 50% in the sperm count of men worldwide. So what they did is a lot of studies were made on the Western Hemisphere, America, Europe, and a few other countries, and they noticed that there was a drop of around almost up to 50% in the sperm count. Alright, so now when I take that into Malaysia, and I don't think there's any proper statistics in numbers in Malaysia yet, but from what I see, I predominantly see men who have men's issues, men's problems, either erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, or all types of men's issues. Even men who have problems with again, low sperm count and stuff like that. So I cannot give you the numbers because there's no specific statistic, or I have not come up with a statistic yet. But what I can tell you is that in a day, I will probably see at least 2 to 3 persons with low sperm count and poor wellness, or poor erectile strength and stuff like that. So that is going to project into that statistic, but maybe one day soon I might come up with a statistic. So numbers I do not have yet, but that's quite a high number. And most of them, these people, they might have some genetic predisposition to having this problem, but what I see is mostly lifestyle. That means they have poor lifestyle. They have lifestyle which is sedentary. They do not take care of what they eat. They do not know what their daily lifestyle is. A stressful mentally and physically situation. And normally I will tell my friend that, look, enabled for you to be reproductively, well, you are able to produce your offspring. Your system has to be completely well, good. And this is not only for men, it's also for women. But we'll talk about men first. So if your system is bad, that means your blood flow is not good, your sugar levels are high, which is toxic, your kidney is not functioning properly, your liver is overloaded, you are obese, you have excessive fat storage in your body. That means the percentage of a fat is higher. For men, you know that percentage of fat is higher means your testosterone is going to go down. The more fat you keep, the more sugar you keep, it's anti-testosterone. So testosterone boosts up production of sperm. So it's a cycle. So if your body system is not primed, it's not at its best optimal state, that means you're not going to be able to produce a proper sperm for the offspring. So you're not going to be able to produce your part in that. So
wow, thank you, doctor. Quite interesting. From the 70s, there's been decreasing the sperm count about 50%.
Almost 50%, yeah.
Which is a massive number.
Yes.
I got a question. So, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, is it for a man, the peak of the testosterone gets around 28 years of age?
Yes.
Correct. So, one of the main questions, even when you go and do fitness, in order to keep as much as possible naturally the level of testosterone high, what do you suggest through a diet to supplementation? What's the way to maintain the testosterone naturally wise without any pharmacos?
Okay. So when I say pharmaco, I would normally say that try not to replace hormones yet as first. You must understand why the body is producing lesser testosterone. You must go to the point where you must see if this is coming from the brain itself or the testicles, or if this is a psycho-emotional issue where the person is not emotionally well stable, so that the body is not able to produce and keep up with that testosterone level. Okay, so now physically I've told you that increased fat storage, increased sugar, sedentary lifestyle, all these will lead to almost like a shutdown in unable to produce enough testosterone, and it is anti-testosterone as well. When you go to the hormonal level, how do we even say that? It's because of the shutdown of the physical system. The body doesn't need that much of testosterone, because if you need higher testosterone comes with a lot of other things that it needs: strong body, leaner muscle, healthier heart, and it's actually a stress on someone who's doing the opposite end. That means you are like someone who's sedentary, goes back, just sleeps. You have like high sugary food. You just you don't have no physical activity, and then you start collecting all this fat, and that is going to put a strain on the heart already. So, and other systems as well. Now, if I give this person a testosterone, the body would not even accept it. So, in fact, most of the time when men have low testosterone levels, the first thing you should not give men is testosterone, because when you give testosterone, the body is going to use it, and it might even shut down the testicles from producing even more testosterone, because that's where your testosterone is produced. So if I'm going to give external testosterone, it will shut down the body's ability to start giving the testosterone itself. So with me, normally I have to go dig deep and find out, where is this problem coming from? Is it because sometimes I might even tell them, look, come back to me after 2 months, I'm going to fix you in your lifestyle. This is what you're supposed to do. If you don't know, I've got suggestions in terms of food, lifestyle and all those. Now, I'm not telling that to flip overnight to do this, but then slowly get there. And I always tell them, look, do not omit whatever you're doing. Do not jump over to the other ship immediately, but take time, because lifestyle changes, modification takes time to happen. So slowly get there, and then incorporate whatever I'm saying inside there slowly. So you need to want to do this, or else it won't happen. It's not like someone comes in and says, can you give me a pill for my lifestyle to change, for me to start producing more sperm? Probably can, but will it be quality? It won't be. And the thing is, there are shortcuts here and there, but the thing is, it doesn't last long. And they all go back to the same thing again. The lifestyle fits back. Yeah, so normally I'll tell them, look, fix your lifestyle, not even like completely to become like someone who's like super disciplined, going to the gym every day. No, someone who just does small steps. Like I always say, take small steps first. Probably you want to do something like, like take care of what you eat for lunch, or maybe you want to do an intermittent fasting, where we know that fasting actually increases the body's growth hormones, which again uses fats to burn, and it uses fat for energy. Whereas in Malaysia, they've got a huge perception that if you fast, you're going to get gastritis. If you don't eat every 4 hours, you're going to get gastritis. But they never think that when you sleep, you're sleeping almost 8 hours. If you get gastritis, that means you're supposed to wake up somewhere in the middle and start eating. So that doesn't work. So it's actually a myth. So people have to understand that, fasting is actually fantastic. In fact, this month, Ramadan month, is fantastic for you to boost up your growth hormone levels. Yeah. So, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I think we keep the fasting for another topic.
Yeah,
it's very absolutely interesting. Thank you, Dr. Shashi. So, once you stated infertility, you started saying about unfortunately, there's been this decreasing of sperm count, but let's talk about the mechanical part of it. So infertility, we can consider even the struggle for a man of having an erection, because the gentleman might have all this, the count, the sperms, but he cannot have mechanically erection. Okay. So how about that?
Yeah, maybe, but most of the times when I see, not everyone, I will do a semen analysis, because I normally send them to a lab and ask them to get the analysis done in the clinic, and then they'll come to me. Normally what I will do is I'll run a series of checks to see where the problem is. So I will go from doing their tests either from the pituitary gland in the brain to see the connection between the pituitary and the testicles, not only testosterone. So just say they come back with the low testosterone. Where is the problem? Is it the problem here in the testicle region, or is it the problem with the pituitary itself? Is it there is a problem with, if there is a high number of female hormones, which we see these days, there's more, if I take the ratio of male to female hormones, the man might have higher female hormone levels.
Due to what?
I think that's a very long topic, but there could be so many things. Most of the time, I would say, is pro-estrogenic food, and again,
soya and all those.
Yeah, all those kind of things. And the other thing is also the body's own mechanism to protect the heart, where estrogen is actually very cardioprotective. So they want to reduce the testosterone to be more cardioprotective. The body actually can produce more estrogen. And if in this case, this person has higher body fat percentage, there is a possibility that this person can also produce higher number of estrogen. That's one. there could be a stressing issue or stress factor that can also produce the body, make the body to produce more prolactin. So prolactin is something which is needed in men in certain dosage, but in higher dosages can actually shut down the pituitary itself. So that can actually reduce the libido, reduce the arousal. So that's one thing. Or in some cases I see where the FSH, or the follicle stimulating hormone, and the luteinizing hormone. So FSH is for spermatogenesis and LH is for testosterone production in the testicles. These are the triggers which come from the pituitary gland. And if this is shut down, sometimes they might go into that shutdown. One, either naturally it happens, or two, it might happen where these men who are actively going to the gym, they might take external testosterone, and they can actually shut down this. So I see both, and most of the times it's because the first person is because of the lifestyle, again, the same thing again, where the body just shuts down the pituitary gland. And the other thing is also if this person is going through depression, having anxiety, having a lot of emotional issues, where the brain actually shuts down and their FSH and LH levels are super low, sometimes 0.5, 0.6, very low. So that doesn't allow the libido, the arousal and all those to happen, and they're not relaxed. And I also check for cortisol levels sometimes. So cortisol levels will tell me how much your body is in stress, and there is a certain timing that I might do. I might even do a 24-hour urine cortisol test just to see throughout the day which part of your body, which part of the day that you produce most of the cortisol. And there is natural cortisol in the morning, but then it is supposed to come down. But if it doesn't, it's like constantly up, or if it's not even there, it's very low. Might have been in chronic stress. So all this tells me that this person is not in a relaxed state. So you won't be able to probably have a libido, poor erection. And then we go to the blood flow part. If the blood flow, where the C-reactive protein, or just say the inflammatory markers in the body are very high, you're not going to have proper. Sorry.
Wow, quite interesting. So it is a multitude of factors that they can influence. So just to recap a second, thank you very much. Quite interesting insight. So the next question was going to be, what are the main symptoms and causes of a man's infertility? But it seems that everything shrinks down to lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
So, yeah.
Mainly.
Yes.
There could be some genetic predisposition.
Of course.
There could be, but as let's assume that there's not any
genetic factor.
Yes. So once you mean lifestyle, so I would like now to, if you can please, and I'm sure you are, able to give us some solutions. So first of all, how to spot immediately when infertility is like something chronic, and it's not something because we've been maybe under stress for like 2 weeks time, and we might happen to everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe some difficulty of mechanically having an erection. But once we start to see that that situation start to be for 1 month, 2 months, so what is the first steps to take?
See, for a man, normally the morning erection that they get is a good indicator that they have good blood flow. And normally I say the pump is good, then the pipes are going to be good as well. So there's good cardiac function as well. In fact, I think according to the American Heart Association, the first signs that you might have, or there is some possibility of having any heart issues or cardiac issues, is the absence of the morning erection, or absence of a good proper erection, or erectile dysfunction could be the first sign that there might be some issue with the heart. Why? Because I would say the second most important, smallest artery in the body for men is your penile artery. The first most important one, smallest one, is of course your coronary artery, which is around your heart. So the other one, which is more important, the smallest one, is your your penile artery. So if that is not going to be properly giving you a good flow, there might be plaque in other small arteries as well. So that could be the physical issue that you're having. Okay, just say now you're someone who's going through a stressful situation at work. I've got people who have had issues at their work, and then they are so stressed out that they probably thought they had a heart attack, and then they went and admitted themselves in the hospital. It turns out to be like, their blood pressure was very high, their blood sugar level was off the roof, and of course you're not going to be able to, don't even think about erection. It's not going to be there. So you've got to solve the problem at the core, at the base first. So how do you solve this? I think,
yes, please.
I think you see, if I have an answer to solve this, normally I'll tell people, look, if work is stressful, I will tell people, work is never going to end. Even if you don't go to work or if you quit, your work is going to continue. Even anything happens to you, you are replaceable. Okay, the most important person is you yourself, and for this person, I always tell that when you use your wealth, something is lost, but when you lose your health, almost everything is gone. Yeah. So I wouldn't suggest everyone to like, oh, if you got a stressful situation, quit your job. No, that's not the answer anyway. But I think as age goes, there you should find avenues in which you can actually bust this stress out. So I think we spoke about last time in our video that for men, a good stress buster will be competitive sports. And I always tell these people that when I was young, I used to see men going to the field to play football, you know, tennis, whatever, badminton and all those, and there was always, you know, like someone who's active. Now when I look at the field, no one's going to go out. Probably they're going to play futsal. Okay, maybe. But this past 2 years, no one is able to go out and play. No one is able to do their normal physical activity. Now, the reasons have gone. We have opened up. So if you have a chance to go and play any competitive sport, go and do it. It's very important for men to be in a competitive sport. Challenging, yeah. Like for women, it's very important for them to have this conversation where they sit down and, you know, it's called gossip. People think it's bad, but then it actually helps for women's brains to relax, you know. So that's one thing. For men, it's competitive sports. And the other thing is, despite sports being important, the other aspect is also your physical activity. When I tell people, do you exercise? Do you do anything physical like run or cycle or you do some gym workout, whatever, anything, yoga, swimming, anything? They are like, no, I play sports. Good, you play sports, but there's something needed for your muscles strengthening and all those, and that's something sports doesn't do. I mean, to a certain extent, it does, but then most of the time it's more of the resistance exercises, your yogas, your Pilates or your weightlifting and all those is the one which strengthens and increases this level of.
Would you recommend meditation to boost, to release stress?
It's something to calm you down. Probably could, but a lot of people come and tell me that, you know, like, I cannot sit down and meditate. So I don't think everyone can sit down and meditate. That's one thing. I would normally tell them, look, there's a lot of other outlets where people can do, like, you know, like concentrating on your breathing. So don't call it meditation. You might be like, oh, I don't want to do it. So probably you might want to call it as, you know, like your breath work or something else. You can go to YouTube. There's a guy called Wim Hof. I follow him, and I think that his breath work is amazingly good for strengthening the lungs and the way you breathe, which is very important. Where men don't only, when you think about the erectile dysfunction, people only think about that region, but it's actually the heart, the lungs, the way you breathe and everything is involved. So take it as a breath work activity, I will tell people. So that's something that you can do. And food, sports, yeah, all this. It's basically you are going to be in a stressful situation these days. There's no way you're going to be free from stress, but you can channel the stress somewhere else. You know?
And can you give us a quick basic rule when it comes to dieting? So it's avoiding sugar,
processed food.
The processed food.
So I'll say go small. So if you're someone who's not who's not there yet, you're not able to understand this whole thing, but you want to get somewhere. Look, nowadays you do not have to go to the library to flip books and all those. There's a lot of information on YouTube. But then again, there's a lot of people giving a lot of different ideas. But then if you look properly, the first thing that you have to watch out for, the catch signs, is that if anyone's trying to do a meal replacement, go off it. You cannot replace your meal. If anyone's giving you a shortcut, I know it's tempting, go off it. Your lifestyle is not a shortcut. It has to take a bit of drastic measures, and you have to take a bit of more drastic steps. So things that you can do in terms of food is simple, most basic. Try not to add more sugar to your food. Okay, first step. Second step, try to reduce foods from box or cans. This thing, that's it. 2 things. Try to eat as natural as possible. So when I say natural, people are like, oh, I'm supposed to reduce rice. Rice is natural. There's nothing much. When I tell people reduce your carbs, yes, not now. Calorie deficit and stuff like that, yes, but for you, for someone who's just a beginner, don't do the extreme that will make you feel like I want to give up after 2 weeks, which happens. Persevere through 21 days to make it a habit, and then you see the difference. So go basic, simple stuff. Do not add more sugar, anything processed, leave aside for 3 weeks. See how it goes.
Thank you, Doctor. And we're almost wrapping up, and I'd like to share something that, especially within men, it is, you know, with this kind of feeling of being ashamed if something's going on with our body. So we are here. One of the reasons we decided to embrace this project with Dr. Shashi is to be free and talk freely about this.
Yes.
Seek the support of an expert, or even talk to your buddies and mates in order to see that we are all in the same situation and there are solutions.
Yeah, so don't make fun of your friends, guys. Don't make fun of people who are having these issues, because it is something which is happening more rampant these days, and men don't want to talk about it. They keep it inside and they become sad, you know, because they're shy to go and even see the experts, because sometimes some experts might not even be able to give you any proper but depends which experts you go to. And you know, most doctors will be able to help you out, and some of them like can even show you the proper channel. If a urologist, someone who's an andrologist or anyone like that. So we do men's wellness. So yeah, not everyone will ask is going to make fun of you. So don't be afraid, don't be shy. Let's openly discuss this topic if you have to.
Absolutely agree, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I'll see you for the next one.
All right,
thank
see you
you.
guys. Ciao.
Bye bye. Ciao.